Welcome, everybody. This is the Forgotten Podcast. This is Big Black, joined today by Nate, a.k.a. Street Talk. Also Kinsley, a.k.a. KK from Around the Way. I just want to send a shout out to everybody for the support we've had recently. Thank you for supporting our podcast. And we also want to just give a recognition to everybody out there doing hard work. I know this is a thankless job. And as the philosophy of the Forgotten goes, we're not really privy to those accolades. So from us here at the Forgotten, thank you for all the hard work you do in the EMS community. Today's show, we're going to focus on a couple topics and maybe a little bitch or / gripe session, really. We're all kind of exhausted being out in the streets, so we're going to talk about some compassion fatigue and some other topics dealing with EMS and that we find near and dear to our hearts. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome to the Forgotten Podcast. This is Big Black, joined by Nate, Street Talk 187, also Kinsley, KK from Around the Way. Today we're going to be talking about a few topics near and dear to our hearts. Just to segue into it, one of the things we have recognized in the last couple weeks is that the call volume has picked up in our town, and I'm pretty sure it's picked up in everybody else's area of where they live as well. So I've noticed that I'm fucking exhausted, flat out fucking tired, and I'm pretty sure the sentiment is the same way for everybody else. I've heard from a few friends from back home where I'm from that they are understaffed and overworked. Nate?
Yeah.
How are you doing in this kind of increased call volume time?
Well, first off, I'm still a little butthurt from a few minutes ago, but we don't have to talk about that. But with this increase, I'm glad you think it's funny. But with this increase in call volume...
Just to let people know, Nate's a little salty because the comments were made about
himself. He made comments about himself.
I don't understand. Okay, back to the topic. How are you doing with the increased call volume, Nate?
At least something's increased.
Okay. Kinsley, how are you doing with the increased call volume?
Hi, thank you to be here. So, to answer your question, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
I am too.
Me and my partner sat at a park and our little clear thing.
I've heard liberals before.
We let that motherfucker run.
Yeah.
For a good 20 to 15 minutes just so we could sit. And like, if you work in our system and you know what our little Logis sounds like, it is a ear-piercing, like, ringing noise that I hear sometimes in my nightmares. She has a 2-year-old at home, so she's like, this is nothing. I can sit here I can fall asleep right now. It was great. But you know what? Just to have like 15 minutes where dispatch could not talk to me. That's what I put up with, man.
A little break is nice. And I guess what we're talking about is what we in the industry call compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue is generally the sense that after you've run your ass into the ground, you're kind of like, fuck it, I don't kind of care anymore. Nate, when you hear the words compassion fatigue, what kind of comes to your mind, man?
Sorry. Well, the problem is a lot of people don't really talk about it, to be honest, because a lot of people really don't think it's a real thing. I mean, like, whenever I first joined, like, I really didn't think it was a real thing, like, honestly. But, like I said before, I mean, you called me out on it once, because it was so bad that, like, I really didn't care. Like, I hated waking up, I hated going to work, I didn't care about my ambulance. I just didn't care. And compassion fatigue is when, like, literally you get on scene to someone and you don't care. You know, you do the things that you're supposed to. Sometimes you don't even do that, you know, and then you just sit there and do bare minimum. So you do bare minimum on your trip sheet.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
like you look at the patient at one point, you're like, I know I'm supposed to do this, this, and this, but if I just get to this right mediocre level, and just enough to get them to the hospital and say I did my job, that's enough.
Yeah.
And that's not really a good attitude to have This guy with the
This
goddamn
guy with
fucking
the goddamn
lawnmower. It's not really a good attitude to have, per se, when you're dealing with trying to give the best level of care in our environment that you can. So, God, this motherfucker.
He's just trying to make a
I
paycheck.
know, man. Fine, fair enough. Hey, get your money, dude.
Get
Fuck
that bag.
But
man.
when specifically,
Maybe he is a
even
bigger.
I've always told and said that even at my worst day, my care level should be at an A+. And we've operated on that philosophy. We reach deep down, find the 3 or 4 grams of fucks we got left to finish out a shift, and we
3 or
try to
4
do
inches.
as much to the standard of care that we're usually used to when we're having our good days. Like recognizing that you have compassion fatigue. I know for me, some of the signs I look for is patients that are, and we'll just be blunt, it's not every patient, it's just certain patients are what we call PIDAs, or pains in the asses. And when they start doing things that like are contradictory to you getting through the call, providing good care, i.e., not listening to what you have to say, dismissing a lot of things you have to say, being rude, cussing at you, taking a lot of their frustrations out on you. And normally, like, we understand you're sick, okay? You're not feeling well, you're in pain. We get it, okay? But especially when you're just burnt the fuck out, that can like pluck this little nerve, and they just keep plucking it and plucking it. And normally when you have when you're at a level of eustress, not distress, you can usually just shrug that off and be like, okay. But especially now with the increase of call volume, level of exhaustion we're all feeling, it's like that nerve is like a ringing in your fucking ear, and you're not as can you give me a second, man?
That's why my hand was out.
Give me 2 seconds.
I was told
I'm
to hold my
getting ready to
hand.
give it to you, bro.
At least someone will give it to me.
So
Ken?
it's right there. It twinges the nerve, and sometimes you have a hard time not saying certain things. Nate, what's your take on this, since you had your hand raised so patiently?
Thank you. I wanted to add to it, especially when people tell us how to do our jobs.
Oh my God.
Bruh. Like, I get it. Like, you guys are trying to help. Like, I can respect it, but do not tell me how to do my job.
Like, if you're a construction worker,
Yeah.
we don't
And I
go
walk
to your
up.
job site and like, hey man, that I-beam looks kind of fucked up. Do you want to fix
Yeah.
that, or
like, do you want, like, I know you're using that, but I think a flathead would work better.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know shit about construction. I'm technologically retarded.
I need step-by-steps.
Remedial for those PC people.
I need step-by-steps.
Special.
That's why I had my little rant a few weeks ago on Facebook about combat med. Because
I guess
they,
I was
out
done
of
talking.
everybody I have everybody I've ever attacked, the only people who try to tell me how to do my job are fucking ex-combat medics.
Yes.
But that's a rant for
You
another
don't
time.
have to raise your hand. You know
Nathan,
this. We
I don't
love you.
interrupt.
Talk.
You're fine.
I just don't. I wasn't done talking.
Listen,
just speak
if nobody's speaking, no words are coming.
Right, but
out.
you guys are
then you
tit-shotting.
can jump in.
You guys.
That's
but-
how you jump in, and that's how you conversate.
Yes.
Okay, but you guys were talking. I don't
You're
want to
good.
interrupt, and I wasn't
Go
done
ahead.
talking.
Go ahead.
Finish up, Nate.
Thank you.
Finish up.
Thank you.
Sensitive.
What,
He's on his period.
Yeah.
your point?
Continue, Nate.
All right. What was I saying? Oh yeah, telling us how to do our jobs.
Somebody here used to smoke some stuff, and his memory's not that great.
Whoa. So like, bruh, like when we get on scene, dude, and like you call the 9 of the 11, bro, bruh. And,
Dude,
like,
your arm is fucked up, bro.
Whoa.
You should probably go to the hospital.
Dude.
You should fix that.
Yeah, bro, that was like a 420 of pain, dude. Anyway, to my supervisor listening, I've never smoked marijuana before.
Never.
Never ever. This is all
The
Wikipedia.
devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce. But like, this is my personal opinion. Like, if you guys call 911 and we show up, why are you being assholes to us? Because I know we can come off kind of salty sometimes, but we are truly there to help you. Doesn't make sense to me. And then, like, if we're trying to help somebody and you're like, well, you're wrong. And I'm like, well, then why the fuck are we here?
It's kind of like that sense of entitlement, I guess.
I get that. I can hear that.
Like, okay, and this environment of the customer is always right, but they forget that we're fucking people too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, one, I didn't just like drive down your street and was like, hey, let's go stop by fucking Nancy's house.
Yeah.
And check
Fuck
on her
you,
and see how she is. Like, if that were the case, I could understand you being rude.
Yeah.
But you called us to come help you out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on top of that, like, once we're starting to give you information or you know, and even give you your options, if you think you know better than us, then why the fuck did you call us?
Yeah.
Right?
Use your Google WebMD.
Yeah. Obviously, because you did that, now you have cancer. You called us to get a secure answer of whether you do or don't. But I guess the thing is like when you call us and we come unseen, we're trying our best.
Yeah.
Even if we're having a bad day, most of us try to put that aside to give you the best care. And when people tend to be kind of asshole-ish about it, like, one, we're going to try and suck it up and be like, we're going to empathize and say, okay, yeah, no, you're having a bad day. Okay, we get that, right? You're in pain. Okay. If I was in pain and you came up to me and I was grumpy, yeah, I would hope you would understand. So we try. But there's like a certain level, a line, which we will not cross sometimes that, like, you know, if you're going to be rude for that long and we'd say, hey, you know, and we'd say, hey, sir, like, we empathize you're in pain. We're just here to try to help you. I think you're still a dick. How much longer do you expect human beings to sit there and take that?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, a lot of people forget that we're all human. Like, seriously, I mean, like, just because there's badges and red and blue sirens, I mean, apparently that takes away the fact that we're human too. We have families, we have loved ones, we have fur babies, you know, we have separate lives.
And personal shit.
And personal
that goes
shit.
on outside of coming to rescue you.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of people don't realize that.
They just see a uniform.
Yeah, they just see your uniform. I mean, we're human beings too. You know, I mean, like, we're tired. I mean, hell, I can't. I mean, I got a Red Bull right there. I mean, my heart probably shouldn't be drinking.
Yeah,
that.
you probably shouldn't be drinking that.
But I mean, like I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, seriously, we go to work, we get our taints beat in, we get sit there, we go to on a call, we go somewhere, we get told we're wrong. I get called every name in the book. My partner gets called every name in the book. Whenever I try to help somebody, I'm wrong, or they lie to me. God forbid we get lied to. You know. So
let's talk about. And just to kind of segue, because, you know, and not really segue, we're going to still stay on the compassion fatigue topic, but like there's different factors, if you will, that contribute to compassion fatigue. Now, we've already talked about, you know, dealing with and it's not every patient, it's just some patients that are assholey, right? Your personal life. Yeah. You know, we all go through shit. Yeah. Outside of putting on the uniform. Like I said, most of us try to, when we get on shift, is to leave that shit at the door and try to, you know, put on our capes, if you will, to go out there and do the best job we can. But in the back of our minds, while we're riding around town and we have downtime, you're still thinking about, okay, you know, hey, words, fucking marriage is falling apart. Yeah. Family member died. Yeah. A friend died. Do I have enough money to pay rent? Do I got enough money to pay my bills? Yeah. God damn it, they're making me get the jab. I don't want the jab, but I'm going to have to take the jab. Stuff that we all have human responses to and that some people don't think about when they call us. And I mean, yeah, we're there for you. It's your problem. It's the worst day of your life. But, you know, keep in mind that we have bad days too. Right. You know? But I mean, again, it's because that we have a badge. Yeah. It's because we're on an ambulance, or we're a firefighter, or, you know, we're a police officer, or we're a nurse, we're a doctor, we're a CNA. It's because of that quote unquote prestige, quote unquote, that dictates that we're not quote unquote human anymore. Oh yeah.
You know what my favorite comment is? My taxes pay your salary.
Oh.
No. First of all, they don't in my city. They don't actually.
Just a small PSA for all you people that live in our area. Your taxes don't actually pay for us. It's your Medicare reimbursement or your insurance. We don't get funded. And that's even a thing, because sometimes with insurances, they don't pay it. Yeah. Depending on what's going on. So sometimes you might get a trip for free. Yeah. And we're asked out on that. It directly kind of affects us down the long run.
Yeah. Dude,
So-
I'm just happy half the time at work to go to the bathroom.
Right?
You know, like if I can run in and get like Doritos, that's my dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I
Speaking
mean?
of which,
EMS
let's
happy
talk about the
Yeah.
next factor that kind of deals with compassion fatigue and something that takes absolute fucking toll on morale. Comparatively from where I started out is we don't have a station.
Yeah.
We're sitting in a fucking tin can. It's not really a tin can. It's a vehicle
Big Bertha.
for literally 12 hours.
Yeah.
We don't and
It could even be longer if there's late calls.
yeah, God forbid the apocalypse happened and we have to stay over. We're still stuck in that fucking vehicle for like 12 to 16 hours.
You live
Now,
in that ambulance.
It's literally your
You're
home for 12 hours.
We were in there for 30 hours.
Oh, the one. We will not talk about that day. Overtime, mandatory, was not fun.
I cried.
You guys kind of came up in this system, in this environment. So I have a totally different spectrum of an environment where I came from. We had stations, so even if you're getting your taint beat in, you still had a place to come back, touch base, maybe go to the bathroom, sit in a recliner, watch, even if it's just for a couple minutes, watch TV, cook, eat with your friends. They turn out to be your family.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to de-stress. It's a good morale boost because you can be like, oh man, that was a fucked up call. This patient was a real asshole, tried to punch me and blah, blah, blah. You know, stuff like that. Here, you're, God forbid you have a shit partner, because then you're locked in this fucking vehicle for 12 hours with a shit partner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty lucky. I got my rollie with me. You have your OTP,
My OTP.
coin phrase, OTP,
Mm-hmm.
one true partner,
Patent
for
pending.
those that haven't watched episode
One
one.
true partner.
But yeah, it kind of sucks in this way, and it drives morale down because we're not de-stressing. And there's something to be said, and research has been done. I'm not going to cite it because I don't fucking know where I read it from. But when you get to come back to a place and just take a load off, a home, if you will, it kind of gives you a little bit of reprieve from it when you're stuck in an ambulance
Yeah.
for 12 hours.
And again, like, I mean, some of what we talked about the first episode, I mean, like, suicide's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I'm trying not to steer clear of that, but it actually is in the same subject.
Mhm.
Because as soon as you start getting compassion fatigue, you go somewhere that, you know, you don't feel like the brotherhood, quote unquote. You have people sit there and they stab you in the back. It's like high school,
Mhm.
you know? So you go back to high school all the times of the day.
Mhm.
Sometimes, depending on where you work, you know, your pay's crap, depending on where you work. You have a shit partner. It's shit all the time. And then some people start to look to substances. I mean, like, that's how a lot of suicide happens in our community.
Specifically speaking, my wife, who's a behavioral health evaluator, a licensed social worker and therapist, we talk about big T PTSD and small T PTSD, which is the T stands for the trauma. If you have little bits of shit, and we'll just use layman terms here, shit, okay? If you have little bits of shit stacking up all over the place all the time, that you won't recognize when it takes its toll, but one day you're just gonna be like, fuck.
All
Like,
the little shits fill up the toilet.
yeah, like some bitch.
Then
Like,
you can't flush it.
Yeah, and then when shit overflows,
So it overflows.
and then you have a
And you're sitting there like,
shitty,
fuck!
pissy mess all over your floor.
Yeah.
Metaphor, message.
Pay your bills.
So you said something that I kind of want to touch on, which is another factor of compassion fatigue. We'll talk about other coworkers and people in our industry, agencies, if you will, that we have to work with. I'm not going to get into specific agencies. Blowing O-rings.
I wanted it to be cool, Dad. I learned it from you.
Where'd you get that from? I learned it from you, Dad. But in this industry, we have to deal with a lot of different personalities, different people. It's a big old melting pot. And sometimes in some specific areas, you have to work with other first responder agencies. And we're not going to get into names or particulars, but sometimes, not from where I'm from, but here, mostly, we're contracted to work with another agency and various agencies from around their way. And they have a way of doing things. We have our way of doing things. And there's different personalities. There's type A personalities, type B personalities. And sometimes you will have conflict. It's not everybody, but it even still, those little small bad interactions that we deal with can really wear on your
Emotions.
Emotions, your well-being
mental
and
health,
emotions.
Yeah.
I don't get how people have like a personality. Like I personally don't get it because I'm always open to communicating with people.
Yeah, but everybody's different.
No, I accept that.
You know what I mean?
No, I hear
Yeah.
you, but it seems like there's so much A personalities in this job. Like with PD, fire, like us, doctors, I mean like everywhere, I'm sure. I don't get it. Like it seems like some people aren't open to suggestions. And like if they're wrong, all hell breaks loose.
Oh yeah, you shit on their parade.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell people when they get into this industry too. I've kind of taken the stance of how I got into the 20-year mark and not killed anybody. Okay, not on purpose. And that's because a long time ago, I let go of two things: pride and ego. When you have a lot of pride and ego in this industry, when you get butt hurt, it's an absolute battle. Me, I don't care. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care if you want to take control. It's not a hill I want to die on. I have more important things in my life to worry about than whether or not, I have control of a scene or laying my dick on the table. That's not a thing.
If you're going to do that, at least buy me dinner first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
At least somebody will.
And a lot of people still, they vie for control over that shit. I'm like, I don't care. As long as you're not going to kill my patient, I don't give a fuck what you do. But, if you ask my opinion, I'm going to give you my honest response. And if you dislike that, then that's on you. Now, if I give you my honest opinion and you go and do your own thing and you turn out to be wrong, I mean, let's be real. I'm going to be a witness for the plaintiff, especially if I've said, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with this, and you keep doing it and you do it anyway, and then you're wrong. Yeah, no, don't look to me for solace because I'm going to give my honest accounting of what happened. I will say that I objected to it. That's just the way I am. I don't, I'm not going to fight you on scene. It's unprofessional, but if you ask me your opinion, I'm going to. And that's anywhere. I've had it happen back home. I've had it happen here.
Dude, that's just like shit in general.
It's shit in general. It's real life shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just shit in general. Like if you ask me for my opinion, usually I have a 3-thing rule. I'll ask you 3 times. Are you sure you want my opinion? Because I'll be blunt with you.
You're getting the real. You're getting a real answer.
And then whenever I get my opinion, they're like, "Well, that's wrong," or "You're an asshole." Well, don't ask for my opinion.
Yeah, if you don't want me to say shit, don't ask me.
Don't ask me. I don't have to like you.
Yeah, no. And the thing is especially in this job, people want people to like them.
Yeah.
And they want people to be besties. I don't give a fuck who likes me. I don't care if you think I'm the world's shittiest goddamn medic. I don't care because real talk, unless you're signing my fucking paycheck, I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't care if you think at the end of the day, I clock in, I clock out, I get my paycheck, I'm good. And as long as I'm doing what's best for my patients, I can give a shit who thinks I'm good at what or bad at what. Your opinion means very little to me.
Well, yeah, it's because, like we talked about first, you showed 10 different people, 10 different situations.
Oh, yeah.
10 different answers.
10 different fucking
and guess
answers.
what? You're wrong.
Yeah. But in this environment we work in, we have to deal with a lot of personalities. That's and that's a big factor that I think a lot of people don't realize that plays a role in compassion fatigue is dealing with those different personalities. And when you don't get along with somebody or you have a bad experience, and it's not everyone and everyone from different agencies, it could be one group or one small percentage of it that ruins it for...
Oh, ignore that. I'm talking to her.
Oh, there's one...
Give me glasses.
There could be one small person or a small group of people that can... Oh, Jesus Christ. That can ruin it for everybody.
I am pretty now.
And for the most part, me and Nate try to have a lot of fun. We try to be as cordial as we can. We try to have a lot of fun. We don't take this job that seriously because that's another part of this job that's another factor of this job that kind of weighs in on compassion fatigue is when you take this job specifically way too serious. And I've noticed it when I was younger, started getting away from it. When you have a bad call go badly, if you're really invested to a point of seriousness where that call is going to devastate you, I don't think it's really worth getting that invested in it, me personally. And that's kind of how I made it as far as I have.
Yeah. I agree with you, but then that comes back to what we just talked about, 10 different calls, 10 different answers.
Yeah.
Because, and then as soon as someone gives, the patient off to the hospital and they're like, well, you did this wrong,
Mm-hmm.
that'll wear on somebody.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh shit, can I even do this job anymore? And what I'm doing best for my patient, because they said they would do this, they said they would do this, and then that'll wear on somebody.
And that comes back to, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did my job. I followed what I needed to follow.
Yeah.
I thought it through. I made a decision. Whatever happens. I'm ready to answer for that. I don't care if you think I'm shit.
Right.
I don't care if you like me. I did my job.
No, exactly. But like a lot of people that don't have that mentality.
No,
because I've always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
I really have been. The problem is it doesn't go back to that. Some people don't have that mentality, and then that'll domino effect.
Oh yeah,
a very small snowball.
I've watched it actually wreck people.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then a lot of people either don't understand that they're going through it, won't come to terms they are, and then if it comes so bad to a point, then like we just talked about, suicide's a thing.
Yeah,
and it is. A lot of people don't like to talk about that subject because it's touchy.
We've lost a lot of. In my career, I've lost a lot of friends to suicide.
Yeah.
From this industry alone. And recently goddamn, it's been a fucking year, man.
Yeah,
since we lost E.
Yeah.
And he showed no signs. No signs. But he was going through shit personally. He was still working, in the hospital and at his other job. Always smiling, fun guy. And when everything kind of comes to a head, and we lose a motherfucker, we're all sitting here like, dude, like, why didn't we see it? What could we have done? Blah, blah, blah. And this is what we're going to go to next, because there's a whole bunch of factors that involves compassion fatigue and stress and distress, but recognizing it, I over time, because I've been down some bad paths. 2012, 2013, when my first marriage went to shit, I got seriously involved in work. I was working 3 jobs, volunteering, and I had no time to really process. And eventually I started taking to drinking. Now, I didn't drink on the job, but I started drinking off the clock as not only just boredom and something to do, but I noticed it started to become a problem. My work production slacked. I wasn't doing my trip sheets and stuff. I wasn't doing what I needed to around the station. And I ended up getting terminated from a couple places because of that. But that was my wake-up call. That was my wake-up call to say, hey, one, I didn't fucking ask for help when I should have, because I felt like I was going to be a burden on people. I took to some pretty toxic things to cope, and it started taking its toll on my work productivity. Over time, I kind of got to recognize, oh, these are the small signs I need to look at when I start getting short-tempered, when I'm starting to get snippy with people, when I'm napping all the time at home and not trying to be productive.
Someone gets under your skin way too easy.
Yeah, somebody gets under your skin way. And that's one thing that I really don't like, is I don't like to give person control over how I react to things. And it's kind of an embarrassing thing for me when somebody kind of takes me out of myself and I snap and lose it. I'm better than that. You don't have that control. And when I give that control over to somebody, you've seen it.
Yeah.
It affects me. It affects me wholeheartedly. And I need to apologize to people and I need to make amends. But I'm mostly ashamed and embarrassed for myself that I let it get to that. But that's when I start noticing, hey, I need to be hyper aware of how I'm reacting to people. I need to start doing things in my personal life to kind of recenter, if you will. What are your recognitions of when you start to feel compassion fatigue? You've already been burnt out, so you have kind of like a map of what to look for when it comes to compassion fatigue, and you start recognizing the signs of it after your first burnout sesh. What do you think you start to look for?
Well, I mean, I'll even add on to what you said before, because you shared some personal things, and I respect that. So I went to medical school because I was burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you called me out on it. I didn't even think it was a real thing. So, I went to medical school for that. And this was somewhat after me and my ex-fiance kind of separated.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think my drinking was getting bad. And I don't even care. I'll say this on camera. I had to drop out of medical school because I was drinking like fish. I had to the point that I was withdrawing.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll say it on camera. It's not a lie. But
by the way, thank you for sharing that, because there's people out there that are going through the same shit.
Yeah, and like, dude, like the only way I came to terms with it is because I was sitting there withdrawing in class. Like, nobody in class knew about it. Like, thankfully, the instructors, and if you guys see this, I appreciate you guys helping me out. Like, I was shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And then my temper was from 0 to 100 easily. And I mean easily, like, shit, some people in class would say I wanted to fight them.
Yeah.
Like, it went from 0 to 100 instantaneously. So then, I had to go up to Montana, and then we ain't going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I had to come to terms with it.
You had to take a break.
I had to take a break.
You had to take a break, do some self-realization.
Yeah, I had to come to terms like, okay, oh shit, like my life is kind of crap right now.
Yeah.
That I have to take care of myself. And a lot of people won't take care of themselves because they think, one, it's selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that because every human being has a right to their emotions. I don't care if you're white, black, gay, straight. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care how old you are. A lot of parents I've noticed, just because kids would go like, oh, I lost this, I want to kill myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they'll say, oh, that's stupid. No. You don't know that.
Yeah.
To them, it might be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you don't know what that meant to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinsley, as we've established before, you're kind of an EMS pup. We haven't really, I don't want to assume anything about your length of time in the industry, but mostly new people don't really experience burnout right away, but we're in a high volume system. And even now, after the influx of calls, COVID, all the restrictions, all the bullshit we have to kind of deal with, you kind of got to be feeling it.
I don't know if I can relate right now.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
Even though you said, even in the beginning, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, that could be a hallmark. Do you know what I mean? And
with other factors, though.
With a lot of other shit in life going on, plus exhaustion from work, and take heedance from our stories. This is the main reason why we're talking about this, is because this shit's real right now, and especially for the EMS pups out there, like. We don't want you to touch your hand on the stove and learn from experience. We kind of want to say, hey, before it gets to that point, recognize the signs so you can do something about it. But
the problem is, even with that, I think this is even like a human factor.
It's a human.
People don't want to come to terms that they don't want to swallow that pill, quote unquote, that they're tired.
What really is the basis of it is in the old days. And I came up in the little crease between old school and new school. We're there's kind of this image that you have of first responders and public safety, that we're supposed to be this hard exterior, this gruff exterior where we're not supposed to emote or be affected by a lot of shit. But man, there's only so much shit you can take before you start feeling it. And traditionally, we're supposed to laugh it off, and we don't go for help because we are the help. But the reality is that we need help sometimes. We need like good levels of ways to cope and de-stress in our off time. If you're consumed by this job and industry all the time, you have no outlet. A hobby, workout, fucking, I don't know.
Play games.
Jog for you healthy people. Exercise for you. For you healthy people.
This is what I need right here.
Yeah.
Right there.
Gaming is one outlet. Get a hobby, So that kind of segues to my next topic about compassion fatigue, is how do we deal with it? How do we change the paradigm?
Dude, that's
paradigm for you, literary folks that speak properly.
Speak English.
Yeah. How do we change it? How do we stop it once we recognize it?
So the problem is, dude, like shit, even with the alcohol thing.
Don't shake your lips.
Sorry. I do that when I'm bored. But the problem is, dude, the first thing to doing it is accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hardest thing anybody with anything can come to terms with. Accepting the fact, saying it and accepting it are way two different things.
You gotta speak it to the ether.
Yeah.
So it's real.
And even saying it in the ether is good.
Mm-hmm.
However, accepting it is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because people can sit here and say whatever they want. Okay, I feel down, or I'm having compassion fatigue, or I'm getting tired from this job.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, they said it.
Mm-hmm.
But do they get it?
Yeah.
Do they understand it, that this is a problem?
It's overcoming pride and ego to say that there's an issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as soon as you find the issue, you can actually work towards making it better.
Oh yeah.
Because finding the issue and accepting it, that's the foundation.
And
then you can slowly stick it up. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's things you can do specifically to kind of get out of that little rut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my experience is it just takes a little bit of a break. Your days off, just removing yourself from. My wife hates this, but I don't make decisions when I'm off the clock. Hey, babe, where do you want to go for dinner? I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not making decisions. I made decisions all weekend. You fucking pick wherever you want. I'll just suck it up for
I
whatever.
want to go Chick-fil-A. Yeah,
If the food sucks, I'll just eat it. I don't care. I got parasmia from COVID, so food tastes the same to me.
It's a really big word.
Yeah, I learned it.
Big word. Good for you.
But
Silver nitrate.
so let's talk about things we do to kind of take our mind away from the shit. I think that's your cat rattling.
Oh shit! Sorry.
You're
guys.
good. No, you're good. You don't gotta go get the kitty. Oh, she's gonna go get the kitty. So one thing I like to do, unscripted. We're uncensored, folks. This is how we do it.
Poor cat just trying to eat. Goddamn.
So one thing I like to do is, and Nate joins me sometimes, I go shooting. There's something about sending a round down range and hearing that ping on a steel target that lets all the stress just dissipate. I play video games with my boys.
You won't play with me.
Because he's like a fucking guru. Okay? It's like in a male bathroom, you're sitting on a urinal and you whip your shit out, and he comes in with a thing that's like down to his fucking ankles.
Well, apparently mine's like 2 inches. So I have to have something to grow me.
I don't play Call of Duty with him because he trounced us in the triple digits, and it's embarrassing. Maybe when I get my game up, I'll fucking play with him.
What was it, like a 1v7?
It was, dude, he annihilated
To my
us.
brother, my buddy Spitz, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
And I'm not a good gamer. Okay, digressing. Finding something you like to do, weightlifting, video gaming, not with him, or working out. As you can see,
That's
I'm
all
not,
6-pack, bro.
I'm not really in a workout phase of my life.
All 6-pack, dude.
Yeah, behind the beer distributor. Kinsley, what do you do for de-stressing? What do you?
She doesn't play games with me. That's for damn sure.
I do not play games with Nathan.
See, this is why I don't have any friends. Yeah, small.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What do I do? I don't know.
Hobbies.
Do
I
you
come
want me to
home
tell them?
and
I
I
pay attention to
sleep.
you, actually.
I know you pay attention to me.
I do.
I
go to-
sometimes draw pictures.
You act.
That feels like more like a chore, though.
Oh, come on. You seems like you like it.
No.
You're doing one this Saturday.
I am.
I'm going to make sure everybody goes to that shit.
Is it a haunted house thing?
No.
I'm not allowed
Yes
at
and
haunted
no.
houses.
You don't like haunted
I'm
houses?
not allowed there.
I'll take you. I'll
It's-
get you in.
If
I'll pull
there's-
some strings.
If there's clowns,
Oh, you're
that
going to...
clown will get his ass
I know
beat.
there are clowns.
No, I can't do that. I'm racist against clowns.
I'll hold your hand and I'll just close your eyes.
No,
during
no.
the story.
Oh!
It's not that. It's
Hold another
He needs
man's
support.
hand. I can support
I
him.
can hold your boyfriend's hand if I want. Only if he wants. Only if he consents to it.
fiance. We're
You're
past-
engaged? Congratulations. I didn't know.
Why
I'm
is
sorry.
this-
When's do
why
you guys
is
have a
this-
date picked up?
I'm thinking sometime in spring.
Sometime that
Oh,
would be
it's what you
lovely.
want, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let Nate pick. Anywho, Nate,
A spring wedding would be lovely. Continue.
how do you de-stress?
Apparently losing my girlfriend and my partner. Apparently my partner telling me when we're getting married. Apparently that sock being bigger. We don't have to talk about that. So...
Do we need a timeout? I think we need an emotional timeout.
No, it's fine. I'll cry. I'll cry on camera. I don't care.
Nate,
What?
how do you de-stress? Keep it on topic here.
Keep
how
it
do you
on topic.
de-stress?
Okay, well, other than my laptop, delete my history, by the way, if anyone hears that. All right, so anyway, about de-stressing. Video games is primary. Don't laugh. It's a natural thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's a form of de-stress.
It is a form of de-stress. I got about like...
Getting in touch with yourself.
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
Touch with yourself.
If you will. I got a good 30 seconds and 29 seconds of regret. I give you the best 10 seconds of your life. 9 seconds of
9
cuddling.
seconds of cuddling. Oh, Jesus.
Anyway,
De-stress.
de-stress. Nicotine's a thing.
Oh, my God. The
Nicotine's a thing.
universal lifesaver.
Nicotine. Oh, dude, my dog asked me. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm about to start getting on a tangent. Anyway.
Pause. If it wasn't for nicotine, I wouldn't have made it in 20 years. Just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, my cardiologist was like, Nate, your heart can't handle nicotine. I told you that's not happening.
Yeah,
Doc.
yeah.
Sorry.
This is a flotation device.
Yeah. Like,
That and chew.
That. Anyway, back to the topic. Actually, I guess that is the topic. Whatever. I play games.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I watch anime for all my weebs out there.
Senpai!
Oni-chan!
Honey-chan, notice me, senpai!
Anyway,
This took a
Netflix.
turn.
What?
This took a turn.
Netflix and chill by myself. But yeah, I mean, oh god, I really don't do anything now. I think paintball. I do that once in a while.
And we
but-
shoot.
Yeah, I shoot guns, but I don't get.
And we participate in the Forgotten Podcast.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't been invited to go shooting in a while, sir.
You want to go shooting sometime?
Oh, now you're gonna do it because I called you out on it. God, and everybody hates me apparently.
Let's
Go
talk.
Go to the next topic.
We're going to the next topic.
That's fine.
I think we burned this one out.
Yeah.
Burnout.
Speaking of.
Yeah. So, one of the things I want to talk about is an educational moment. Education, people. Something we deal with recently we had a law passed that deals a lot with patient consent and the use of medications to sedate people, specifically what they consider excited delirium
That's a subject.
or agitated. But we also have to deal with a lot of consent issues in EMS and what we have the authority to do and not to do. And to be frank, I honestly don't think we have that much authority to make people do things.
We don't.
We can come and form and request or give our best advice for somebody to do something. But at the end of the day, we have to respect our patients' rights. And in the same token, the rights of any individual. I hold civil liberties in our realm of industry above anything else. So let's talk about a couple things that we may have seen or see happen on the rig in our job profession. One of the things I kind of talk about is the consent to treat, the consent to transport, and just, getting your patients like input on things and having them be involved in the call. One of the things I absolutely think is abhorrent in their industry is like when you just go in and assume somebody wants to go to the fucking hospital just because they called 911. That's not the case. A lot of the time, maybe they just want advice. Maybe they just want to talk to somebody. Maybe they just want to have you say, hey, you're not dying right now, But like when you go in and start doing things and you like throw an IV in somebody and then you find out they don't want to go to the hospital, it kind of makes the situation kind of weird. It's an awkward situation. I've seen it, not just here, but elsewhere in different places I've worked. People just walk in and just assume. The thing I've gotten in the habit of doing, working in the East Boroughs, is walking in, finding out what's going on. The next question out of my mouth is, do you want to go to the hospital? If they say, I don't know, they say, okay, let's take your vital signs, let's further assess, and then we'll talk about it. Before we start jumping into like jabbing people with an IV needle, because doing that without consent is assault, or in some places battery, okay? And that's a legal thing. It's a medical legal thing. You really should get permission and find out that somebody wants to do something before you start jabbing needles, giving medication, stuff like that. God forbid we walk up and Black and Decker somebody's shin, and they're like, "I want to go to the hospital." Oh shit!
Well, take a breath.
Yeah. And that goes that's like the initial part of the assessment. Hey, what's going on? Oh, I have back pain. Okay. How long has it been going on? Oh, it's been going on for this long. Do you want to go to the hospital? I don't know. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's do your vitals. Let's assess you. Let's talk about your options.
Yeah, actually, but even that goes back into compassion fatigue because, like, I have back pain. Sorry, so do I. You know what I mean? But it'll slowly start to get that way with some people. Like, my favorite call I ever heard go out was that I burned my hand on a Pop-Tart. Like, bruh. Or like, I have a pimple on my ass. Yeah. Bruh.
Or I have a toothache.
Bruh.
Nigga, brush your teeth. Oh.
Yeah.
God dang it.
We're going to edit that in post. Brush your teeth.
No, that's what you said.
Yeah.
You said brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Like, just bruh. And, like, that can slowly start to wear up.
It does wear.
You know what I mean?
But I have a comment.
No.
Well, so I have noticed something that wears on me is like I feel like, you know, as first responders, we deal with a lot of stupidity.
You can't fix stupid.
You can't fix stupid, but that wears me
You can
the fuck
fix
down.
ugly, but you can't fix stupid.
Can you though?
Yeah, you put
plastic
makeup on
surgery.
pig.
Okay,
Yeah.
you got me that. You got me on that one.
Checkmate. I was about to say.
You got me on that one.
Atheist.
Checkmate atheist.
But you know, now that we're talking about this and I'm recognizing some of the things you guys are saying, I'm kind of starting to recognize some of that in my own life. But it's just the stupidity of some things that get me. And
Yeah.
like, I cannot deal with the drama of other people.
Mhm.
Like, I can completely understand. I have an education and I've been in EMS for 2 years now. So I've seen, you know, a certain number of things, and it's an emergency to someone else,
Mhm.
right? And that's why they called 911. That's why they had us come out. However, I just can't deal with, like, some people just, I don't even know how to verbalize this.
Words.
Make a huge deal out of things.
Mountains out of molehills.
Mountains out of molehills, and it's just drama. And sometimes your patient is not the actual person you're transporting. Sometimes your patient is the fiance or the boyfriend or the mom, you know, in those situations. I've had numerous calls where the patient was not the one who was on my cot.
Oh yeah, no, and that goes back to what you just said. Families will call 911 for their family members,
And not even ask
and not
them.
even ask
Not
them
even
what's
ask
going
them.
on. Like, I mean, like, respect their rights.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I get you might think that they're sick, and maybe they are sick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let them make an informed decision.
I love when we get this, when we come out and it, like a family member, I don't care what they say, they're going to the hospital.
That's not how
No.
it works.
That ain't how it works. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to the patient and find out what they want. Because
Yeah.
it's about the patient. I understand you're the family, you care, but let's not forget there's a person there who has some dignity that we wanna respect their rights.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, okay? For all you people looking to get into EMS, for all those that are in EMS, we know the percentages are not favorable for legit calls. We'll say 90% of the shit we go on is absolute bullshit.
Absolutely.
Absolute bullshit.
Our personal opinion. Because I mean, you know, if someone's like, oh, well, how do you know?
Well, it could be
Well,
X,
it
Y,
could
and
be.
Z, but
Web-
we can't see everything
Yeah.
out in the field, so you
Yeah.
should probably go to the hospital because
Web-
you're going to die if you don't go.
So when
WebMD says.
we go for the frequent flyer who gets drunk, wants to go to detox, goes to detox, leaves half an hour later, gets drunk again, and we run that person every day.
I love how
That's
the name
kind of the
popped in my
bullshit.
head.
When we go to somebody who calls for a stubbed toe, and granted, if you ever stubbed your toe on something, it fucking hurts. You end up speaking a different tongue when it happens. Like you speak fucking Aztec or some ancient hieroglyphic language when you stub your toe. It hurts.
You ever seen that SpongeBob episode where Mr. Krabs is like doing dolphin noises?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we understand, we get it, but but over time, if you stack all those BS calls up over time, you're like, oh my God, why are you calling for this? You know, like it does wear on you over time. But going back to consent.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Consent of call. So ideally, when we go on, really got off topic, but we're coming back to it. When you go on calls,
We
when we
write
go
a
on calls,
script, Mike, for this reason.
I know, I have a set list.
I told you we weren't going to do it.
I knew we weren't going to do
I told
it.
you.
We're just,
God forbid someone trust me.
everybody in this room has ADHD. I don't care what.
I don't.
I don't give a fuck what this motherfucker says. He has ADHD.
But I got to assume things, bud.
Consent.
2021.
Consent to treat, consent to treat, consent to transport. These are things that like I hold near and dear to my heart, and I do not like when we are forced to take somebody against their will. It wears on my soul, and that's something I hold near and dear. I try to do everything I can possibly to say, hey, like, what do you want to happen? Like, what do you want to do? And then we'll inform and talk, and sometimes we can get people to agree to go. But just sometimes when some responders show up and they're like, they're going to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. They don't even ask them, do you want to go to the hospital or, what do you want to happen tonight? She's like, okay, well, I think you should go to the hospital. Let's go. Or what hospital you use. They don't really cater the question to give the person an option. And I don't like that. I think it's kind of disrespectful to that person's dignity.
It's kind of lazy in a way.
Yeah.
You know, if you as a clinician can't think through the problem and what they're going to actually do for your patient at the hospital, it's not patient advocacy.
Mhm.
Sorry.
But that comes
And
back
it's
to
kind of
us wearing badges. You know, like someone sees the badges, they're like, oh, they think I should go to the hospital, so I should.
Yeah.
You know, but we're not informing people.
And there is the kind of aspect where we kind of have our hands tied. We can't, I feel like,
Words.
I don't know. It's hard because there's a liability aspect.
There is.
Because there always is.
Absolutely.
Always is, no matter what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So saying to someone, nah, don't go to the hospital. I mean, granted, could be. Does that make sense? There's always that liability aspect, and people do die.
But
So,
again, that comes back to the we are informing somebody.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where, like you said, it comes down to, and we have a structured, I don't even want to call it a verbatim, but we have a platform, procedure how we talk to people. So we give them every bit of information we have. At the end of it, we ask them, hey, do you want to go to the hospital? They say no. We say, okay, I want you to understand the risks and benefits of your options. And we'll list every risk and benefit up to including death.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward silence.
Yeah, awkward silence.
That was a mic drop moment.
Right?
Yeah.
If we do that, probably in his ears.
So let's move on to another topic.
Nut. Sorry.
Nut.
I need my button.
Another topic I want to kind of talk about that I've seen kind of recently. We've had what is it, like a few months ago? Two EMTs die from gunfire on the scene of a call unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Like rolled up to a routine call. Dude comes out of the house.
Were they staging?
Blah blah blah. Throws hot rocks to him, and they got clipped and died. Was there an officer that went down too?
I'm pretty sure he got injured.
Yeah.
I think so, if I remember it.
I don't remember the full details because high school herbal stuff.
Whoa.
But
Whoa.
but scene safety
BSI.
is something that's like beating your head
Scene safe BSI.
in school. And I'm pretty sure months out of class, we were all going scene safety BSI, scene safety BSI.
Dude,
what are my resources?
Yeah. Dude, I wake up in nightmares. Scene safe BSI.
BSI, scene safe.
BSI scene is never safe.
It's indoctrinated in, but knowing about it in school and seeing it in real life are two different things. Situational awareness, something we in the shooting community call your OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. And knowing what your scenes are. Over a long career, I've gotten pretty good at, breaking down what I expect when I walk into a house. Based on what you see at the front door, the lawn, is it manicured lawn or is it just a fucking jungle walking up to it with ticks and fleas everywhere?
There's cream for that.
Is the house kept? Is it not kept? When you walk into a house, I mean, me and Nate have gotten pretty good at picking out potential weapons when we walk into a room. Because one, we've had knives pulled on us before inside houses. Frequently. Oh, we've been shot at. A few times I've been shot at in my old place. But like what scene safety and being able to break that down. Not only that, but we have different environments we operate on that aren't residential. We operate on the highway and on streets, and that's a big scene safety concern. And although we have, fire blocking the road, we have our lights on, we have our traffic vest, stupid drivers are still stupid drivers.
Yeah.
And they will ram right through a scene like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Even staging, even us at post,
Mhm.
especially down in the souther areas.
Oh, Lord.
And we all work night shift. I mean, you know what I mean? Those are bad areas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's reality.
Mhm.
You
Somebody could walk up. That's why me and you, we always lock our door when we're posting.
Yeah.
We like keep the window cracked so much.
Yeah.
Someone
walks up, what? Roll the window. I can hear you.
Imagine somebody just walking in, start tickling your neck. You just like, fuck off.
Someone touches me.
But
Ken.
scene safety is a big concern, and learning how to break down the scene to maximize your safety level is the key. Me and Nate both, and Kinsley also carry ballistic vests on the ambulance. And
thanks to you.
yes, I won't promote my own shit, but but knowing when and where to wear your PPE, specifically ballistic vests, gets kind of dicey. Now, me personally, I don't like wearing my my plate carrier all the time. There's some people on our job that like to wear it all the time, and kudos for them because we obviously have no clue what the fuck we're going into. Hey, Granny's down. Next thing you know, we're getting shot at.
Pop, pop, pop.
We don't know. And the climate, things are the way things are now, and the social climate it is. I mean, it's it's like the Wild Wild West out here sometimes. You know what I mean?
I'm 10% stage in Call of Duty.
Yep.
I'll dolphin dive over that fucking
I play Red Dead. It's getting to be a shit show out here, and I mean, we have to think about it. 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't get requests for people wanting body armor, but now it's like every other week. Hey, man,
Yeah.
we ran a call. Somebody pulled a gun. Okay,
That's why I like actually put my foot down and bought armor from you is because of a call that I went on.
yeah.
That's the first time that we met her. Because
Yeah.
we were sitting there sleeping.
No, first time was the
That lift
CHFer
assist.
at the.
No. Because she was the one that drove up. It's like, hey, are you Mike?
That was after.
That was
That was
after?
after. Trust me,
Yeah,
I know
that was
after.
because there were reasons. I could have texted him on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I wanted a reason to walk up and talk to you.
Oh, okay.
We won't talk about the call itself, but
Obviously.
yeah. What we look for, seeing safety, posturing of family, temperament of family,
Yeah.
posturing of the patient, temperament of patient. When we're on the road, hey, are there wires down? Is this a fucking chemical truck that's flipped over? In that case, I need to be way far away from the ethyl bad shit because not getting in a decon tent.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Did that
like,
once.
even simple stuff. I mean, every time I walk into any building, like, as soon as I open the door, I'm literally pieing everything. Just taking everything into consideration.
Absolutely.
And then, like, if you say one thing, you see someone roll their eyes, they're slowly getting annoyed.
Mhm.
I mean, small things that can lead up to someone's extreme anger, and it goes on from there. And then, someone starts yelling at somebody, comes right on back.
Yep.
Or, people, just because, again, like, we have badges, they'll think that they're over the person.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like to feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, we've went from, in my opinion, having badges to not being able to talk to people like human beings.
Mhm.
And if you do talk to someone like a human, I mean, we've seen it. You've seen me do it.
Mhm.
You get that level of trust.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can't, everyone's not going to trust you, but it's little things that will slowly affect, because even if we do have badges, we still are strangers.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And when it breaks down, and scenes do break down, it happens. Usually I'll try to, if I'm steadily being disrespected, I will speak with what I call my dad voice, and I'll tell him, hey, you need to calm down.
You're gonna stop that. Was that your dad voice, Mike?
No, my
Demonstration?
dad. I won't do it here.
No.
I don't want to ruin it.
We're going to blow his eardrums out.
Yeah. But
You're going to stop that.
when it happens, my inclination is, and we've actually started doing this more recently, but in the past, where I come from, we did it all the time. But when I moved out here, it was kind of a different element. But now I'm starting to get back into it. If you're disrespectful to us to a point where I feel like there's going to be a problem with me or my crew, you can shove our legs to the hospital. Real talk. Like, you don't have to go by us, and we don't have to take you.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're going to be disrespectful, rude, cussing us and stuff, you can get the fuck out of my truck.
You stop being a patient
Yeah.
at that point.
At that point, you're not listening to us.
Legally,
you're being
you do.
rude.
Yeah.
You're I'm not going to, we're human beings. We're not going to sit here and take abuse and then.
I mean, the scene cannot be safe by that.
Yeah.
We get
we're-
taught scene safety.
Yeah. When you calm down and you want to be, respectful, we understand you're in pain. You can be in pain and whine. We don't care. But the second you start threatening us or being like overtly rude, then you can get out. You can go with somebody else. You can shove your legs. You can take an Uber. There's a taxi. Use your own money to go somewhere. But we're at this point in time, I'm like, I'm too old for this shit. Danny Glover, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon shit. I'm not going to sit here and take it. Like, there's people out there who are sick who will appreciate, us coming and helping them out, and who will be nice and we'll be nice back to them.
That won't bring my mom into it.
Yeah, or call me all sorts of racial epithets. Not that I'm really bothered by it,
It's the principle.
but it's the principle of it. Like, if you're going to be that rude, cool, stay here, be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's like goes back to like what we first talked about. Like, you called 911.
Mhm.
Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, we are legitimately here trying to help you. We are also trying to inform you. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, there's no reason for you to be rude.
There's no reason.
Like, we get you're sick, just treat us with respect. You'll get respect.
Yeah.
You got to give respect to get respect.
Yeah. And then, like, even if, we've had people go like, hey, sorry, I don't mean to be dicks, but I just feel like crap. Cool, I can respect that.
And what is our response normally? Hey, we get it, man.
We get it.
We understand.
I respect
Yeah,
that.
like, if I understand you're frustrated, like we can empathize with that.
Yeah.
But just, don't be dicks to us when we, yes, it's our job, but we don't have to be shit on.
Yeah. Well, depending on the call.
Well, if it's uncontrollable explosive diarrhea, that's unavoidable. There's corks and never mind. We don't gotta get shit on.
Get the eye gel.
Yes. That's a sound it makes, by the way.
Dude, if I ever eye gel someone, be like.
So I'll save that for a bench seat blooper, which is our next topic: bench seat bloopers.
Bench seat bloopers.
Bench
It could be
seat
like a
bloopers.
water slide if you think about it.
Funny moments that we talk about.
No, think about it. Water slide.
Funny moments that we talk about that we fuck ups, if you will, mistakes we've made.
I just call it my brain.
Funny moments on calls that we've had. And
I got a lot of foot and mouth now that I think about
I
it.
think we're going to talk about a foot and mouth situation.
Which one?
I think we've passed the statute of limitations on you getting in trouble for this, so we're just going to put it out there. And I'll start out with this one, and it'll sound familiar.
Okay.
It was about this is how we established our 30-second rule. Yeah. So Nate has a rule. He's not allowed to say shit on bad calls until we're 30 seconds away from the scene. This is
I already
why.
know what you're talking about.
So we go on the scene of a cardiac arrest. It's this big dude. Goes into arrest his house. We're in the living room. And we worked this guy for like 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Pumping, blowing, epi, all the fun stuff that you see in the movies
When we
and
used
shows.
to do epi.
Yeah. And this guy's overweight, has poor pathology, just a whole bunch of heart and lung issues. He was not going to make it. We worked this guy for like 10, 15 minutes. We're like, hey, Domino eat the biscuit. He's gone.
Why would a Domino eat a biscuit?
Shut up, dude.
It doesn't have mouse on it, bro.
Nathan.
Oh, wait, Domino's has biscuits now? Whoa.
Bro.
All right, keep going.
12 hours of this. This is what it is. So we end up working this call. We're going outside to restock fire, and and we're all just chit-chat now. Now, for those of the industry, we know everybody has gallows humor, dark sense of humor. And we all like to talk about calls and debrief afterwards and say, hey, did we do everything we could? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, what do you need to restock your vehicle? Me and Nate kind of take a more comedic view to it. So we usually just talk and bullshit. And after years of doing this, you kind of don't know the most appropriate times to say some shit and when not to say some shit. Nate being new at this point in time, just no filter, okay? So we're sitting out there, and Nate has what we call dad joke syndrome. So he'll tell like these stupid dad jokes when it comes to his head. And I think we thought it was late enough at night that it was pretty isolated, but Nate goes, he just walks up with the equipment he's given to fire. He's like, well, I guess we can't call that a living room anymore.
Nathan!
Right as the daughter of the patient walks right by us. And I'm like, oh my God. What? Why? So we're all looking at each other, and Nate's like,
shit.
Damn it. As soon as we get in the truck, I go, bro, you're not allowed to say shit on scene until we're 30 seconds away. Thus established
The 30-second.
the
30-second rule. Or we had
This is your bench seat blooper.
or like you really ate the bullet on that one.
Yeah, we won't talk about
Yeah,
that.
we won't talk about that. I've had a lot of foot and mouth now that I talk about it.
Yeah.
Or this was actually when I was on wheelchair. I actually felt kind of bad for this one. I was talking to one of our buddies. He brought in a patient, and I forgot like what was going on, and she looked sad. So I was like, "Hey, do you want to hear a dad joke?"
Oh my God, this one.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, do you want to hear a dad joke?" She's like, "My dad just died," and I was like, "Oh my God!" I felt so bad.
Street Talk 187, everybody. Round of applause. Kinsley,
Oh, Lord.
this week's bench seat blooper, do you have one?
Oh, gosh.
We heard about your ninja activity last week with the CPAP
Oh yeah, that was fun.
We need to have another gem.
Another one.
Yeah.
We could tell you about the funniest call.
Let's do that.
So, I'm working with a paramedic who helped teach my EMT class. So she's watched me really grow up from a little
EMS fetus.
EMS fetus into whatever the fuck I am now.
Fetus deletus.
Fetus deletus.
That's
so
Harry Potter's version.
we get called to stage down off of like freaking.
You got it.
We get called to stage down south. I'll say that by the interstate for a party dousing themselves in lighter fluid and about to light themselves on fire outside of the McDonald's. I'm like, okay, good morning, good morning, Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
So
I'd like the #1 fried meth head, please.
So this is one of my frequent flyers that I have been seeing since my FI.
Mm-hmm.
Her brain
For those
is.
that don't know, FI is a field internship.
Her brain is
Prove
so
you're not
fried
dumb.
that, I mean, by meth, she's pretty fried.
Mm-hmm.
However, ANO times 4, she knows exactly where she is. She knows what she's doing. She knows what the day is.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what time it is.
Yeah.
She knows me by my full legal name.
Mm-hmm. Your government name.
My government name. She'll look at me, Kinsley Hobbs! And I'm like, God damn it, she remembers. So this lady, we get there. She managed to get a boyfriend. I don't know how.
Good
She
for
got
her.
a boyfriend.
Hey, everybody needs love.
Everyone needs love.
I was proud of her. I was like, okay, girl,
Yeah.
you go. I hadn't seen her in a few months, so I thought she had died, but she was alive. She sees me, recognizes me. She's in the middle of like throwing, I guess she and her boyfriend have broke up, so she's like dumping all of her shit out of his car and like
Been there.
living out of a bucket. So she's packing everything she owns into like one of those big old buckets you get
Yeah.
from like Home Depot.
How would you do that? Like,
I don't
Like
know.
that?
I don't know.
and she like rolls
She
around.
does a lot of things. I'm not going to say. I'm really tempted. I can't say her name. Frequent Flyer X.
Yeah.
She's great. She cracks me up. So here's a little side note about the first time I met her. Brand spanking new. I don't know anything. She's covered in shit, sitting in the back of a police car. I was like, I want to take this call, experience. It's a
Go
psych
for
call.
it. That's all we
I
do.
came from up in the woods where we don't have psych calls.
Yeah.
I mean, we do, but like not like this. So I go open the door and I lean in and I say, hi there, my name's Kinsley. I'm an EMT. And she grabs me up by the wrist and pulls me into the shitty cop car with her. And I learned
Like when
not
you say shitty cop car, you're talking
Like
fecal matter.
fecal matter. Like,
The poo.
it was,
I remember
there
my
was a lot
first
of it.
time.
So
I got the poo on.
I got
that was the first time I met Patient X.
Yes.
Ugh.
So she knows me by name. She's good
You
friends.
guys bonded.
We bonded.
Shared bodily fluids.
Sharing is
So,
caring. Hey, Mike, that must have been shitty.
It was a shitty call. So back to my first call here. So she's sitting there going off, and we're sitting there kind of watching her. And the cops and I are kind of laughing about this lady.
I've
And,
been laughing my ass off.
and he's trying to get her. One of the cops is trying to give her a citation for something, littering or whatever. She's not going to pay. She's not going to go to
No,
court.
they
This
don't pay.
is Patient X here we're talking about.
Wait, I just thought of a joke.
So let me finish.
Never heard that before.
So the cop walks up and he's being so professional, and I'm like, oh, bless this little rookie's heart.
Yeah.
He's standing there, with his shoulders back, and I'm going to give you a citation for littering and blah, 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 blah. And he's sitting there bending over, and she's trying to get her to like sign this thing, and she's like putting stuff in her bucket, and, like yelling at her boyfriend, telling us to like that he needs to be arrested because he made her mad or something like that. And she pulls out a bottle of mustard, like Heinz mustard. You know what I mean?
Now
like you
I'm
find
really
at
into
a
this.
white person barbecue. Pops it open, takes a swig while the cop is sitting there, dumbfounded, trying to give her this ticket. And I just look at my partner. My partner's like, you remember those scenarios I'd give you in EMT school? And I'm like, yep.
This
She's
is
like,
it.
I didn't make up a single one.
Dude,
like,
I'm bringing
okay.
that to Thursday when I'm teaching EMTs. So
And
you
then
roll up
she
a guy's
chucks
drinking
it.
mustard.
Mid sentence, she puts the cap. No, she doesn't put the cap back on. She leaves it open and
Rude.
just chucks it at her boyfriend's car, past the cop's head. So there's mustard everywhere coming down her mouth, and I'm like, okay.
Would you say there's mustard on her beats?
There's mustard on the beats.
There were mustard on the beats, man. I ended up transporting her because the cop put her on an M1 because he was concerned she couldn't take care of herself. And I'm like, it's Patient X. This is like baseline normal.
This is baseline
This is
for
fine.
Patient
This is
X.
what she does. This is how she. It's not illegal to drink mustard on
It's
the
not
side of the
illegal.
road.
It's not illegal to shit yourself
It's not
and
illegal to shit
smear
yourself.
it like body paste.
Yeah,
It's-
no, that was my joke. Like, you ran into shit, so I was like, it was an assault.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And so, I mean, the transport was great because she and I are jamming in the back, and my partner's blasting rock, and Patient X like, "Yo, turn it up!" And I'm like, "Okay," we just blasting rock on the way to the hospital. I'm like, "You don't need to go. There's no medical." But that was a fun call. That was the most fun I was cry laughing. Cry laughing.
Mike, do you get it? Because it came out of her ass.
If I don't answer him, he's
It's
going
an
to keep asking
assault.
me. Yes, we get it. Nate.
Do you get it? He gets it.
No, I
He's
don't
like,
get it, Nathan.
You
Break
don't
it
get
down. I don't understand.
Okay,
what
so
you
the
said.
anatomy.
No, don't make it explain.
The
And
anat-
on to our next topic.
On to our next topic.
There's a
Thank
dirt.
you for our sponsors.
There's a dirt star.
So
Chocolate Starfish.
The chocolate starfish.
I think we've rambled on long enough.
And then after Taco
How long
Bell,
is this podcast supposed to go on?
It's supposed to be. I don't know.
where are we at?
Are
Like, what's
even a
the
year now?
time, bro?
We're about an hour 20.
Okay.
All right.
We're
Wrap
gonna,
up this
we're gonna
week's
wrap
episode.
up this week's episode. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, KK from around the way from coming in. Marv, DJ Whiskey. I don't know what we're gonna call you. We're gonna call you something. For this,
DJ Khaled.
Why am I yelling?
we're gonna
Dolly.
we're stepping up our game with some professional setup here.
Well,
So we're gonna shout out Marv. What is the website, Marv?
Suyan Photography.
SuyanPhotography.com. Check it out. He does a lot of good work. Obviously, I'm wearing sunglasses because his light setup is blinding the fuck out of me.
he's
right
gonna
now.
be doing my
Blinded
But it's
OnlyFans.
by
all
the
pro
lights.
shit.
He's gonna be doing my OnlyFans.
Kinsley's on Instagram.
We're not giving him. We're
Oh yeah,
talk about
she got
Instagram
hacked.
later.
Remember, she got hacked.
Kinsley-
We'll talk about Instagram
Kinsley
later.
does not have
I'm just here.
a Kinsley Instagram.
She got hacked.
Nate has. Can you
I need to
Can you
check.
show? Make gaming friendly again. Street Doc 187 on Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, OnlyFans,
YouTube.
Cam Soda,
Yeah.
Pornhub. No, not on
What
those.
Hey.
what's the new website? Pocket Hub? Pocket Girls?
Pocket
I don't
One
know,
I'm on
one of
now?
those two.
One of
Yeah,
those.
one of those two.
Mine's Street Dick 69
Is it?
on OnlyFans.
You can follow us at the Forgotten Podcast on Anchor FM / the Forgotten 719, or we're on Facebook, the Forgotten EMS Podcast community. Please like, share, spread the word, spread the message about what we're talking about here.
Did we hit all the points, or are we just going on a tangent?
We kind of went on a tangent. I kind of stayed on topic.
Oh, okay. We did better last time.
But thank you all for supporting and participating. Next week, we're going to try something bold and try to live cast this with the help of Marvin and SuyanPhotography.com production LLC Inc. Trademark stamp.
Stamped it.
So we're going to try and live cast next week. So please spread the word. Join in. We want to hear from all of Yin's guys. For us Pittsburghers, it's
Oh,
Yin's.
Y'all.
Y'all down the way.
Y'all around
Down
the
yonder?
corner, down over yonder.
Over
For us white people, I'll
and-
see you next time.
This is America. Speak American.
I want to reiterate that we send our thanks out and show appreciation for all of you out there on the streets with us doing the damn things. All of our Forgotten fam from around the country that are busting their balls,
Thank you for your
and
service.
other female
What if they
male
don't have
body
balls?
parts,
Busting your ovaries.
busting
Yeah.
your ovaries, for getting the job done, and
Busting the ladies.
keep your heads up because it's going to get worse from here.